on a variety of different things. But I would just be curious to know a little bit more specifically if we're going to focus on teachers, if it is like a specific population of students, or if it's really broad, and kind of like what you are looking for in terms of like a speaker versus like a workshop, because I would obviously approach that pretty differently. So
I think originally we thought about definitely focusing on like educators, and possibly we like to open it up to anybody in the community who wants to come, but just heavily it feels like it works better for us to get an audience when we kind of target a group, offer CEUs, kind of focus on things like that. So I know we spoke about teaching, educators, healthcare workers also, and just kind of daycare, that kind of population. Anybody who would, have interactions, especially with youth and children, in that kind of area. Anybody else? Questions?
Well, I think that teachers would make a lot of sense, because that's goes directly into the rest of the community.
And I think like a workshop format is always super helpful, just to get interactions, unless anybody else has a strong feelings to just a little bit of interactive activities. I do remember what we spoke about, that kind of what we could do for activities, kind of a workshop kind of feel it would be. Usually we do about 2 hours.
Okay.
Hour and a half, 2 hours for events. That's what we've done in the past, and it seems to work out pretty well time-wise. As far as populations, I don't know if anybody has specific ideas, or just kind of in general what you'd maybe encounter within New Ulm, and just kind of maybe some of the struggles we've had, things that have come up in the past, or LGBTQ. I think what stemmed from our desire to hire a couple of speakers was the article that came out in the newspaper, if I'm remembering this correctly, where the Hispanic families felt bullied at the school. And just how they felt treated differently. And there was that article in the Journal, which kind of brought our attention to maybe having some education for the community available for how to handle like that kind of situation, for maybe even how to interact with, I wasn't the person interacting with this family or who was doing any of the bullying or anything like that, but just interacting with the family and like their experience. Just because you weren't a part of it or weren't aware of it doesn't mean you can't interact and kind of have, be helpful and learn about that kind of situation.
I would like to add, just even like families moving to town, because I moved in at second grade and I felt like it took a long time to integrate into town. And then my husband and son are Native American, and there's just certain things that stick out to them.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I would think especially if we're trying to target educators as the main audience focus, is what can educators or, daycare providers, healthcare people, but mostly the educators, and to help the students, the youth they're working with, the kids, just be more welcoming and more tolerant. As an adult person, what can I do to sort of facilitate that?
I know the public school has a position, it's called the community school director. I don't know if you're familiar with that, and I can't recall who's holding that position right now, and I believe it ends, it was like a one-time funding, and that's ending. And I wonder, I think that role is really to kind of extend the school outside of just the building. And I think she might be well-positioned to speak to maybe what some of the issues that she sees are.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure too that it's well advertised to the private schools in town. Sometimes we do initiatives. I know with Safe Routes to School is one of the Heart of New Ulm commission or groups that work groups that I'm on, and we have representatives from all the schools, and that's really helpful because it's sometimes easy to forget that we are really lucky to have 3 schools in this community. So make sure that we're including them in that conversation as well. And I think there's a lot of discussion about, not just diversity in terms of race or, gender orientation, sexual orientation, all of that, but also socioeconomic status.
Yep.
And I think the community school liaison might have some good information on that.
Okay.
Yeah, and we really want to make sure that we kind of get this planned so that we can do some really good advertising well ahead of time and then kind of leading up to it, just so we make sure we get a good turnout. So it's important that we actually have people able to come hear what we are offering. So
Okay. That's all really helpful. I can take this back and draw up like what I would do for a couple of hours. I'll figure out who that person is. The community school director, liaison,
Her
whoever.
name's Tammy Lorch.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
She does awesome work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will get in contact with her too, because I think that would probably be helpful for direction. So I'll reach out to her and chat with her a little bit, and then I'll draw something up, and then we can
from
do
there.
events committee. It sounds
yeah,
like maybe?
yeah. So
Okay.
the next step would be you do that. We'll set up an events committee meeting. So it's just a small group, and then we can nail down a date.
Okay.
And then we'll be at the community center because we can use that space as a commission. And then we can just kind of get going from there. As long as we have a date and a time, then we can just work on advertising and make sure we're really well set up to be successful.
Sounds good.
So I'll reach out to you and we can just see if there's any like dates, like days of the week or times
Okay.
that work better for you to meet with the events committee if that works.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep. That works
Okay.
good.
And I do not believe we need a motion because we've already motioned to approve the speaker. So
Okay. Cool.
thank you very much
All
for
right.
coming. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks.
All right, the next item on the events committee is the Bavarian Blast Parade. So this is Sunday, July 21st at 12:30 p.m. The registration deadline is June 30th. The registration form is attached. We have done this, I think almost every year that I'm aware of since I've been on the commission, and they said they've done it before. The one issue that we've had is just having enough participation. So a couple things we need to decide, do we want to participate in the parade? And then do we have enough commissioners available that we can actually participate in the parade without it just being a couple people? It just gets to be a lot if there's only a few people. Somebody has to drive the car, and then if we only have a couple people to hand out signs and stickers and stuff, it can be a lot of running. It does not have to be commission members only that participate. So if you have family members or friends that are willing to kind of walk along with the parade, we can also do that as well. It's a pretty long parade. I would say it takes a little over an hour to walk through. And like I said, it's the 21st of July at 12:30. So any questions? And usually we hand out, we have the yard signs, we hand out stickers, our bookmarks, and we throw out candy. And we've had a really good response in the past. I've done it the last 3 years, and we've had really positive responses from the community every time we've done it. So
Do we need to order more signs?
we have that for a little bit. Yeah,
That's farther.
yeah, a little bit further down, but yeah, we'll have to look at our inventory. Yes.
There we go.
Well, I know I'm definitely out of town then, so I won't be available.
I'd be in town and I'd love to participate. Yeah.
And I know I'll be around and I can get at least one other person.
I'll be in town and I could probably drag my dad, my son. And
Yeah, if we could get
I
like,
can get my dad.
if we could get about 6 people, I think at least that would be a good, I mean,
Yeah, because we've done it with 3,
yeah.
and that's one person driving.
That's a little bit
Yeah.
tight, so.
And this year I am not going to be able to help.
Okay.
It is kind of fun.
Had a lot of fun last year.
And I know in the past, like when we did the South Central Minnesota Pride Fest Parade, we reached out to some other organizations that weren't in the parade and maybe just see if their members would join us too.
Oh, yeah,
So that
that's a
is an
good
option
idea.
too, if if we have other people that are willing to join too, or student members if they're interested or have friends. If we could get 5 or 6 people, that would be a good amount.
Yeah. And I can help, I mean, in advance, get stuff organized or whatever. I have family coming for the parade. And I already said, do you want to be in it? No, we want to watch it. I'm like, okay.
So a couple options. The deadline is the 30th of June. So our next meeting would be the 24th of June. So we could, if we want to go ahead and decide we want to or don't want to participate, we could have a motion today, or we could table it till the next meeting if we're uncertain about how many people we would have in the parade. I think. And then I'm not sure about Casey or Obehi. I know Obehi and her partner, and their daughter walked last year too. So if she's in town, I know she'd probably be willing to do it as well.
I think it's a really valuable thing. Like, it really gets out in the community and lets people see what we're about. I think it's really
Best
valuable.
parade in the area.
Yeah.
So, really. Well, it's packed. I mean, the streets are packed.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of, people asking for signs, kids taking stickers, a lot of positive feedback. And it is nice to be out in the community and be visible that we're a commission that exists and we're here to support. So is there any motion?
I would make a motion that we participate in the Bavarian Blast Parade.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that motion passes, and I will make sure Lisa knows to fill out the registration form. Next item is the New Ulm Night Out, which is Thursday, July 25th, so real close to the Bavarian Blast Parade. The setup is 4 to 5 p.m., and the event is 5:30 to 8:30. In the past, we've had a table with a couple people, again, handed out stickers, brochures, things like that. Here's the vendor booth info is attached. So we basically just bring a table and a couple people. And this is another one. I don't think there's a registration. Is there a registration due? July 1st. So that's another one we've participated in the past. It doesn't require nearly as many people, so we've tried to have a couple available.
And the police department has some of the awning things available, so if you get there
And it's hot.
early, they'll even set it up for you.
Any questions about that?
No, it's really easy. And there's usually a really good turnout. Very family friendly. So if we had like a fun kid thing to do, that would be good.
Okay. Are there any motions on attending New Ulm Night Out?
I'll make a motion that we attend NNO.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. All right, that motion passes. So again, we'll have Lisa register us for that. And then this is kind of the busy time of year. So our third event is the Brown County Fair. That info is attached. This has changed a little bit over the years. So there's a booth at the Brown County Fair. We've done this in the past. We've kind of cut down. It used to be that we'd staff the booth pretty much the whole time the fair was open, which gets to be a lot with a smaller commission. So the last couple of years, we've cut down the hours a little bit, and I feel like that's worked pretty well. You basically sit in the booth. We have kind of all of our information, and then just interact with the crowd, ask questions, just kind of let people know what the Human Rights Commission's about. Registration's 150, and the deadline is also July 1st.
What's been the reception, or do you feel like that's been a good use of time? And
I feel like now that we've cut down the hours and we try and only staff the busy hours, I think we've gotten good interaction with the crowd.
Yeah.
It used to be we'd be there till 10 o'clock at night and people just weren't walking through.
Well, because you have the
booths.
demo derby,
Yeah.
you have the concerts, and so we really don't do the evening anymore.
Yeah. And what we've done is we've just made a Google sign up, and you can just sign up for a block of time. You can sit. We try and have 2 people in the booth. Again, it does not have to be actual commission members. Again, people can come sit with you, and then just staff the busiest time. And if we don't have people to fill the time, we just don't have the booth open in that time frame.
have you ever used these opportunities like the National Night Out and County Fair to gather information about needs in the community? I mean, rather than just providing information.
No, but I really
Seems like a
that
wasted
idea.
opportunity.
That is a good idea.
So-
We could have like a survey.
Yeah, if you just had a couple, I don't know if you want to do like a free text and let people
Yeah.
just give you ideas, or if there's a couple topics that you maybe want people to, you want to assess the interest in those, amongst those, whether it's like speakers or, what's the top concern you have about
I really like that.
equity in New Ulm or something like that. It needs to be a
Excellent
very
idea.
targeted question
Right.
that people can come up with something off the cuff pretty quickly. And we could,
I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
We have not done that before, but I think it also adds a little bit of interaction too.
Right.
So it gives like people are coming up to the booth or to the table, and you can be like, here, fill out this survey or send this text or whatever it is we decide to do. We have not, but
yeah, you could do some sort of board, where people could put Post-its on what they vote for, or, something like that, where it's a little bit, I hesitate to call that active because it's barely, but
Yeah.
a little, interactive,
Somewhat,
I
yeah.
guess, or, visual.
Well, and yeah, having a display function
Yeah.
to it makes it,
Yeah, just on,
maybe people would be more interested in seeing it if there was something they could add to it. That's really cool.
I really like that idea. I know the city is doing strategic planning, and I think it's important for us to look at a broad, look broadly at human rights. People talk to me about accessibility, not just from the handicap accessibility, but people that are probably have a lower income, and what are they, and can they access all programs and services that we have? So it's much broader sometimes an interpretation than some people look at human rights. So I really like that idea, Sarah.
that'd be great. And also transportation, lack of transportation, whether they
Absolutely.
don't have a car, they don't have a license, so accessing some things are harder for people, so.
I think potentially to some of the things that people might want to talk about, they wouldn't necessarily want to post on a board, though.
Yeah.
Like to give like a more private option, like maybe like a Microsoft form or something like
Yeah.
that.
Just set up a QR code so they can just scan quick and.
Yeah, I think
It's
it's
an alternate kind of.
like a
Yeah,
couple
you
options.
could do
yeah.
the kind of a board maybe for more general or generic things. You could even do like, where you put the little dot, the little sticker.
Yeah, that's
you
kind of what
know,
I'm
if you, like,
thinking.
just, oh yeah, this, and then, additional or more specific things they could, I really like that.
Yeah, what I've seen
idea.
before is, you have like a grid or some columns, and so it's like one issue, they're listed across the top, and then people get a vote or whatever. It's like, you just put your pin on what you think is one of the top issues, whatever, if we're able to identify what we heard and the people that we work with in various aspects of our lives or through this committee, things that we can, then you're gonna get things that we can actually implement too, versus, pie in the sky kinds of things, which have their place, but as a commission, we have to do something actionable, so.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Okay.
So first thing I would say, we have to, do we have a motion? Do we want to participate in the Brown County Fair? Yes or no?
I make a motion that we participate in the Brown County Free Fair.
Great. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed, same sign. All right, that motion passes. And then I would say the next thing is we could set up an events committee meeting, and we have a lot of time because it's not until August to just kind of develop. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just the events committee that works on producing whatever we decide on, but just kind of like decide what we're going to do and then go from there. And we can get the rest of the commission to help out too. If somebody needs to make something or help with something, we can do that. So we'll have Lisa schedule an events committee meeting for planning for that.
Yeah, and we could use the same information gathering at National Night Out as well, too.
So I can
at
have her
least-
set up a meeting like in June,
Yeah.
and then that'll give us some time because it's not till the end of July. So, okay, we'll do that. Next thing is the South Central Minnesota Pride Fest Parade and Festival, which is Saturday, September 7th. We don't have registration information yet, so we'll just keep that on the agenda until there is registration information. We've participated in that the last 2 years, so that's something that we'll want to look at when we have registration information. And then our inventory of our commission items. So Lisa put together a list of what we have, and then we'll have to look at. So there are 44 humanity, kindness, community signs and brackets, 1,059 stickers, 436 business cards, and 436 bookmarks, and 59 business cards. So that's what we have for handouts. So we'll have to, I would say for sure signs, probably we need to order more because those go pretty quickly at both the parade and the fair. And then stickers, bookmarks, business cards. Does anybody remember off the top of their head? We talked about brochures at one point. And then I feel like we tabled it because we didn't know about the logo coming.
But I know like last year when I was going through stuff, I found like 3 different versions of the brochure, and some of them had outdated information, like the State Human Rights Commission had a new address and some old emails for the city. And so I had Lisa just update that information, so we didn't really change any of the other verbiage in the flyer, but at least the contact information for everything's current now. So if nothing else, we have that.
Okay.
Because those are kind of nice sometimes to have, maybe not at the parade, but like for our booth things. You know, it's just something people can take with them, and it's got that, when are our meetings, who do you contact, or.
Okay. I could get that from her, like the brochure, and we could get printed if we wanted. So we got to kind of decide, what do we want more of? What do we have enough of? Is there something we want that we don't have? We talked about, like, especially National Night Out, like some maybe things for the kids. I'm not sure what that would be. I feel like, I'm not sure.
There's all sorts of like marketing things that you could get. Like you can look online and get things printed easy on anything. A Frisbee, a ball, you know, I mean.
Absolutely.
Pens.
Well, I know last year we had talked about, we had an event committee and we had all kinds of ideas, pens. So, because I remember Obey, he said something useful, magnets.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the bracelets, silicone bracelets.
Does Beacon still, is Beacon still here in town?
Yes.
Yeah. See, okay, don't, they
Yeah.
make that kind of stuff,
I
right?
can ask him, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's nice to use somebody local.
Yeah,
It is.
Kind of folds into the,
absolutely. I can ask him what they
Interest.
have available and bring it back.
Yeah.
The signs, I believe we've got, I can get this information from Lisa. I think they come from Printware because they have our template and everything.
yeah, I think the signs, I think,
Yep.
especially if you're gathering a lot of stuff from a bunch of booths and you kind of stuff it all in the bag, I feel like maybe the money could be better used on useful things that people would see more than once.
Well, I don't think we need stickers right now,
Yeah. that's not
because, I mean, that's a lot of stickers.
I feel like we haven't ordered stickers in a couple of years and they've lasted.
Yeah, I mean.
And even bookmarks, 436.
good. Yeah, that's plenty.
Yeah, yeah, we usually have those at the booths too, and, you know, some kids, I remember being at the fair, well, I don't read books. Want a bookmark? I don't read books.
Clips or, yeah, I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, and the stickers are all separated, they're all cut up.
Okay. And then I do know separately there are a couple of banners that are housed at City Hall that we can use for the booth, the table, kind of whatever, the parade. So I think what we need is maybe a motion if we're going to order any of the, like if we're going to motion if we're going to order more signs, I can get that going. And then I can kind of figure out what is available. I'll check with Beacon since it's local and I have a source.
You have a connection.
And then I can reach back out. I'm not sure what the turnaround time would be if we waited until the next meeting to approve other things.
Well, then can we entertain a motion to approve purchasing,
Up to an amount, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Is
whether,
there,
whether it's pencils or magnets or,
Are you making a motion?
but I don't know what the dollar amount should be.
yeah,
Let's see. I have a thought. Let me go back to the budget finance report from last year and see, or this last time.
Mine wouldn't open.
Or anything.
is there a minimum order for signs or probably any of that stuff, but I'm,
You get discounts the more.
Signs.
Yeah.
they're
I feel like the
batches.
last time we ordered like 150. That might be, I mean, I'm thinking maybe 100 because we have 44.
that sounds good.
And then I wonder if the events committee can.
So this looks like we don't really have any events until July,
Right.
right?
It's July 25th. So if we-
I happen to know that Beacon has a decently quick turn time, so I feel like we could still vote on what we would
Okay.
get next meeting.
And then get it.
And then get it in time.
And then we can just, yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay. So do we have a motion for signs?
I will make a motion that we order 100 additional signs.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes. And then I will reach out, I will get information on other items, and then we can make a motion at the next meeting in order if we need, or decide to. Sound good? Okay. That is it for events. Executive committee report. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
There's the Pride Parade.
Yep, I said that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so we don't have registration
sorry.
information.
Went
So we'll
right
just
over
keep
my
it on.
head.
Yeah, we'll
Sorry.
just keep it on the agenda until we have registration
Okay.
information.
Went
So
right over my head.
that's all right. It's got a lot in the events committee this time. So executive committee report. So we, the mission statement still needs to be approved. So we did meet as the executive committee quite a while ago, and this was our proposed mission statement. The only change we made was in green here, so we added any other protected class. So the full mission statement is to secure for all individuals regardless of race, color, creed, religion, national origin, sex, marital status, disability, public assistance, age, sexual orientation, gender identity, familial status, and any other protected class. Equal opportunity to employment, housing, public accommodations, public service, and education, and to secure full participation in the affairs of this community by assisting the State Department of Human Rights and by advising the city on long-range programs to improve human relations in the city. So we did propose a change this year, and that is that little section in green. Does anybody have any questions? No questions? I would entertain a motion to approve the mission statement.
I motion to approve the mission statement.
Right, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all approve, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. And that motion passes. And then other business, the subcommittees list. We actually had never finished subcommittees for the year, kind of with everything that was going on. So the executive committee is myself as a chair, Casey is the vice chair, and Allie is the secretary, but we need to decide on the other committee members. So there's events, education, and public relations. So we could just go, maybe just go around and you can just
Oh,
pick what you would like to be on.
well, I have been on the events committee, and that seems to work well for me, so I'll do that.
Do you want just one or?
We need 4 on each, so, or we need an even number on each, so.
Okay. I'll be on education and events.
I'll skip me and I'll just take what's left. I mean, I'm totally fine with that.
Don't you feel lucky?
What have I been on? Education?
I think so.
Yeah, I'll stick with that.
Okay.
I like that.
What exactly does the public relations committee do?
So we kept the public relations committee. It doesn't do a ton. We used it in the past when we needed to answer like letters to the editor, things like that. It's just kind of just a just in case committee. We did not use it a whole lot, but we kept it in the charter just because in case we would need it.
Okay. Well, if it's not doing anything, then I'll join. No, I can do public relations, and I'd like to be on education. If
I would like events and education.
What do we got left?
Oh, sorry.
Or how many do we have in each? Okay. You can put me on public relations and I can help with events. And then Casey and Obehi are left.
Well, I know Obehi was on events,
Yes.
because I was. But I don't know if that's her dream spot.
Did we decide?
Yeah.
Did we decide for them? Okay. Let's keep her there then.
Okay.
And Casey.
1, 2, 3.
4, 2.
I think public relations is fine without, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Put her on education.
And what was Katie on?
And Katie,
Was she?
She was on education at least, yeah.
I can move from one to if like.
It's pretty even. And then Katie.
On education as well. Sure.
Okay. And then the next thing is a summary of the presentation to the Lions Club that Janelle did on April 11th. They had asked somebody from Human Rights to kind of come speak, and Janelle volunteered.
And Casey came too. First off, I was very surprised at the rather large size of the Lions group in town. I had no idea it was, they meet in Turner Hall and almost all the tables were full. So I was very surprised at that. But yeah, they had some good questions. There was it was interesting because after the fact, I felt like I could have answered this question better, but someone was asking about if something happened at the school. And, and I had stressed that, we're not a body that has any kind of authority or, we're here to offer suggestions or support if someone asks or, to take info, to the city. And, and they said, someone asked about the school. I said, well, that we would, if someone brought our attention to something related that happened in the school, we would take that to the school. But you're a city commission. And I'm like, and I realized later that the city would still know about it because it is a city meeting and they're aware, but the city, I said, the city doesn't really have authority over the school. But, so anyway, that was a little back and forth on that because they went, well, you're a city commission, and I'm like, yeah, but the school is their own entity. But yeah, it was, there were a couple other questions which, that was kind of the sort of the stickler though. And I went, oh, I should have answered that better that, the city is still aware, but they kind of like we as a commission have no authority. The city, unless some law has been broken, they really have no authority over the school district. So anyway, but yeah, it was, like I said, I was very surprised at how big the group was. So that was kind of fun. Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. You are welcome.
Questions of Janelle?
I said you are welcome.
Okay, legislative update. I don't have anything. Does anybody else have any legislation that they're aware of that they would like to bring to the commission's attention? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the city council liaison, which is Casey.
Hello.
Do you have anything from the last meeting?
I have actually most of my notes from watching the last 4 were from the last one. But you had actually just brought it up, Sarah. They were talking about the safe routes to schools. And then the needs and wants with the grant. They're going to be talking about that in the next month. I thought that was something great to bring up here just because like what you said, people without like transportation or kids that don't have bikes or, all of those things, like that's like a human rights type of thing that's going to be coming up. They also talked about the SROs in the schools. They're going to be offering sergeant pay to the officers in the schools. There's not going to be any like rookies, any new officers that will be allowed. They won't, but they also won't necessarily be sergeants, but they're going to be getting paid from the school that extra wage. And then the other note that I had that I think also went along with actually what you were saying earlier is Parks and Rec is looking to have free fitness in the park every weekend. And I think that's huge for lower income people or that can't really pay to go to have a gym membership and or pay to get into a yoga class, stuff like that. And they just approved the grant application, so that did go through. So those are the notes that I had, and most of them were from this last one.
So, thank you for reporting.
I don't know if they discussed this, but the public library has fitness center passes that people can check out with their library card now. So anybody can access the facilities.
I saw that in the paper.
Yeah.
If they did, I missed it, but that's awesome.
Yeah, and I've been asked about that, and I was going to go to the library to find out, do you know how it works? I mean, if you have to have a library card, is there a limited amount of availability, or is it just?
I am not sure how many
Continuous.
passes. That's a Park and Rec Commission maybe question. I don't know.
Feel like from reading the paper, there are X amount of passes, and I think a person can check out a pass for like 4 days there's, it's not like you can have a pass for forever.
Right, or for 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, there's a certain number of passes and then a limited number of days per checkout.
Okay.
Yeah,
So kind of like a book.
yeah.
We have 5 of this
Yeah.
book and.
Yeah,
comes back
and
and
I
you
would
can
assume
reuse
you
it.
probably
Okay.
need a library card, but I mean, they're free. Anybody
Over
can,
age 5, I think, can get a
yeah,
library card.
so that in and of itself is,
Yeah.
very,
Very equitable that
Yeah.
way, yeah. So it's something we should share with people if they weren't aware, if they don't get the journal, didn't know about it.
yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
cool.
I thought so.
Especially if you just want to like, would I even want to join here? I mean, are these things workable for me? Or, yeah,
Right.
I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah, you can even get passes for the indoor pool. So if you wanted to take your family, because it's fairly expensive. I think it's $7 per person or $9 per person. I think it's a little pricey for a family. So I think it's great to have that available. There's some other fitness equipment you can check out there as well. It's not just books.
Yes.
Yeah.
That whole library of
Yeah.
things. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the Library of Things, exactly. I think there's tools there. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was a great philosopher named Arthur who said having fun isn't hard when you have a library card. Yeah, he's an aardvark, so. Yeah.
That's a super good point, though. Like, even that they have tools, I mean, that's something that, like, somebody with lower income, they might just, I mean, that's something to really spread awareness about. I think that's excellent. Love that. Okay. That brings us to current human rights issues. Did anybody have anything additional that they were aware of that they wanted to bring forward to discuss?
I don't have issues, but I would like to encourage members of this commission and for you to encourage others in the community to participate in our strategic planning process. The city of New Ulm has put out $100,000, basically, for strategic planning, and they want community input. And as we all know, there's usually a core of people that show up for those, and it's same old, same old. But I really think that this is an opportunity for us to participate. We did finish a comprehensive plan, which is a 20-year plan, and so a lot of that is visionary. And so now this plan is like 3 to 5 years, and we will look strategically at all the services and opportunities that are provided by the city, but accessibility and human rights factor into a lot of that. And so will be public meetings and want to solicit input. So I just encourage you, and I don't know when those meetings are. I just was interviewed yesterday just to kind of jumpstart the process, and then it'll be opened up to the public. So keep an eye, or I will try to make sure that I reach out to you at the different meetings and let you know when those meetings are.
That'd be great. Do you know, additionally, will they be advertised like in the journal or on social media, on the city website? kind of?
Yes,
Okay.
they're making a significant
I
effort
would
to get
guess
community input.
All those things.
Right. Because we want the community to own it, not just a few. So that's my goal.
Thank you. Anything else anybody would like to discuss?
No, Heart of New Ulm did secure an EBT card reader for the farmers market, so that's something people can utilize. I know, Heart of New Ulm, man.
That's genius.
Yeah, I think that
Really
was.
good.
Yeah, the first market I think is the end of June. So, and then there's usually the Power of Produce too, where Heart of New Ulm provides some vouchers for $5 or $10 for people to use for produce. So, I don't think it's not needs tested or anything like that. You just ask for it, but they're usually there at the farmers market with that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else? All right, hearing nothing additional, the date of our next meeting will be Monday, June 24th, which brings us to adjournment. I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do we have a second?
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed, same sign. All right, so this meeting of the Human Rights Commission is adjourned. Thank you all.